Hi there, I'm Dr. Randy Green, a New York State licensed psychologist, master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, and licensed facilitator of the mythogenic self process. I want to welcome you and thank you for enrolling in this powerful, positive, and innovative seminar, Living Well, Power of Being You. I'm truly excited for you and look forward to guiding you through some absolutely amazing experiences. And so I created this video as your free gift for having registered to participate in the seminar. Consider it a trailer, as you would find, regarding an upcoming movie adventure. Speaking of adventures, you're about to begin one, an adventure in which you'll discover the experience of your life. And so, who are you? Are you born with all this stress, for example? Stress over grades, the economy, relationships? Of course not. And how can you restore that natural state that represents who you truly most are? You'll come to answer these questions for yourself during an empowering 3-day seminar, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, May 1st through May 3rd, 2009. In the meantime, here's a sneak preview into 3 key elements, vital secrets as it were, to shedding a stressful way of being on your way to uncovering your real, most valued identity. So, first key element, the ground of who you are. What you're experiencing first shows up in your body and is held in very specific ways. When you're calm, confident, creative, or productive, your neuromusculature manifests these expressions before you even realize you're operating this way. In a similar way, your body assumes a particular form when you're experiencing stress and intensifies that form as you increase your expression of stress. Beliefs about what you expect to happen first show up in your body and are expressed through your neuromusculature as postural shifts, micromuscular movements, breathing changes, eye-accessing cues, which means the path they follow to retrieve information, and so forth. This way of representing experience through the body is known as the somatic form and is wrapped around the powerful stories or myths we live by. That means that every time we run a lot of dialogue in our heads, share things with other people, we are first assuming a particular form that wraps around those stories, so to speak. Consequently, verbal feedback such as diagnoses, when people are diagnosed with things like ADD or learning disabilities or depression even, or any of the other, many diagnoses, criticism and disapproval, or on the other hand, compliments, acknowledgments, and acceptance, all of them first become expressed somatically through the body. Accordingly, this is the most fundamental way we manifest who we are in the world. Right? The second point I want to make to you, the second vital secret, has to do with language. What you say is what you get. Period. Language can trigger the release of certain brain chemicals, believe it or not, that lead someone to expect success or failure in family and peer relationships, or in work, or in performance. And yes, that too. When you wake up and start telling yourself a lot of negative things you expect to happen that day, like, it's Monday morning, I gotta go to work, oh gosh, what's gonna go wrong today? Your body having already manifested a somatic form relative to that internal dialogue, chemicals are then released into your bloodstream associated with this way of being, often generating what you know to be stress. So the beliefs, good and bad, that you have about your ability to perform a certain way, such as when being successful in your activities, are strengthened by the neurochemical changes in the brain that occur as a result of those beliefs. Notice, this happens without the use of CNS stimulant medication, by the way, typical of what's given to ADD or ADHD identified children, such as Ritalin. So in this way, words themselves are a form of neurotransmission. Get it? And you could say all communication is a kind of neurotransmitter. The third vital key element, secret, that I want to share with you has to do with how we filter information. Where you place your attention is where you will get your outcome or result. It's not uncommon for most people to hone in on the very things, the experiences and information coming from the outside that they feel just does not enhance their life in any way. How many of you listen to the news, by the way? That's another good one. I love the news. What are the first three stories, or what they refer to the lead stories? What are they typically about? Are they about someone who found a way to persevere despite a challenging situation? Are they about a rescue of some kind? Of course not. They're typically about death, destruction, economic woes, even impending bad weather that becomes sensationalized and then often fails to occur. You know, you've heard of this expression, no man is an island, haven't you? And by the way, that also works for women. Nothing could be more true. Our identities, who we most know ourselves to be, is derived from the values we embrace and the people with whom we associate. In other words, other. Some people define themselves from a position I call the OMG, or the oh my God position. The stories they embrace and the people they call their circle of influence are very concerned with what's wrong with work, the economy, the government, their sex lives, and so forth. Then several among them call me and wonder why they experience stress and want to know how to get rid of it. Others, however, sort differently. They place their attention where they most want it. A new job, a new car, a new hobby or interest, a new human interest story, if they're reporters. How many of you watched the news about that U.S. airline hero Sully Sullenberger? You know, the man who put down a U.S. air jet into the Hudson River and in the process saved 155 lives and made national news? How did you feel when you heard that story? How do you suppose he filtered information? And think about it from Sully's point of view. He's flying along in his ascent pattern, getting ready to take a whole bunch of people to, I don't remember where it was that they were going. You can fill in that blank. When those birds suddenly hit the engines, did he go, oh my God, we're all going to die. This is terrible. Shh, don't tell the passengers. Just my luck. I mean, those stupid, stupid birds. They had to be right there as I was in my ascent pattern, right? They couldn't wait a few more seconds. I mean, what the heck did they have to do that for anyway? I'll bet it's because I was flying a puny little 230 Airbus, right? That's what it is. If I were flying a 767 or a 747 or something, they would have scattered. They would never do that to a big jet, just the one I'm on. Did he do that stuff? How many times have you guys done that stuff? All you people watching this video, think about it. The context in which that's occurred in your lives, and you run that dialogue and you sort for that kind of information. Of course he didn't do that. He sorted for what works. I contend, now listen carefully to this, he already had the experience of having landed safely in the Hudson before it actually happened. He had that experience through his body. Evidence for this, I believe, actually came from the David Letterman appearance that he made, during which he was asked by David, you know, Sully, what was it like realizing that there was no way to know for sure what was going to happen? To which he responded, I've been training for that day my entire career, David. And that was exquisite. He generated what we call a future memory, which is something you'll learn much more about at this powerful seminar. You see, Sully knew just what he had to do based on having played that experience in his head and organized his whole somatic experience that way many times. He placed his attention where he wanted it most, and that's one of the vital, vital keys to dissing stress. Simply not having it. Stress is not where your attention is when that's happening, because it's elsewhere. So how do you do that anyway? How can you access and learn to maintain a way of being away from what could go wrong that often generates negative states, such as stress? Telling you is one thing. Experiencing it for yourself is another. Come to my weekend seminar, Living Well, the Power of Being You. Let me guide you toward uncovering and expressing a potent way of being that you already possess. I am Dr. Randy Green, and I want to wish you the life of your dreams.